Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make maple walnut cookies. We're going to start by weighing our ingredients. Same base recipe as the others we've done. So what I'm going to do is measure out 200 grams of almond flour. After the almond flour, we'll do a half a teaspoon of baking powder and a half a teaspoon of xanthan gum, and then a quarter teaspoon of salt. Then we'll give that a mix, whisk it all together so everything's uniformly distributed. Okay, good to go. Set that aside. Now we're going to measure out our sweetener. And again, we use square confectioner sweetener. You want that in a little bigger bowl. So 125 grams of that. This bag's about empty. So give it another one. So 125 grams of sweetener-ish. I mean, I just did 128. It's not that serious. It's okay. So with the sweetener, now you need a stick of butter melted. I have mine right now at room temp, so it should melt pretty quickly. I'm just getting all of it. Okay, here's our melted butter. So now we're going to get out our mixer, our regular beaters in. Okay, to our sweetener then, we will add our butter. I'm going to put you down so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see what it looks like. Alright, so the butter goes in. Now we're going to give that a mix until it thickens and gets shiny. There we are. See how it's thicker, got shiny. To that, we will add one egg. Again, room temperature. Eggs should always be room temperature when baking. And then I'm only going to do a half a teaspoon of the vanilla because I want to add a teaspoon of maple extract. Yeah, so maple extract. This is what gives it that lovely flavor. So then a teaspoon of that. If you didn't know, the cap on those holds a teaspoon. So give that a mix and add about half of the flour. We'll add the rest of the flour in. Give that a mix. Now to that we'll add a half a cup of chopped walnuts. You can cut them, or I mean you can also just kind of smash them up in your hand if you want, which is what I'm going to do because it's only half a cup. I don't feel like I need to really get messy on the cutting board. Any big pieces that escape, I'm just going to grab and give another little pinch too. And they break pretty easily. Okay, so about a half a cup of them, like that. And then I'm going to put those in, mix them up, and then we'll be ready to roll them and cut them. In we go. Let's clean our beaters off also, because the stuff's expensive. We need to make sure we're getting all of it, or at least as much as is reasonable. Now let's throw those nuts in there. They smell so good. And this combination, the combination of the maple and the almond flour and the walnut, gives it such a nice flavor. So if you like maple, you're really going to like these. Alright, so take our dough, put it on our cookie sheet, and then I'll show you how we roll them out and cut them. Okay, we'll come back down here to the cutting board so you can see. Okay, so all I do, now like I said before, I use these reusable liners. You can use parchment paper. If you don't have those, that's okay too. I do a lot of baking. I'm sure you're not going to be baking that much, so probably you don't have to have them. Look, see there's a big nut right there in the way, so I'm just going to break it up, squish it in there again so it doesn't stick out of a cookie. Be weird. Okay, so you want to form a log, try to make it somewhat even so that your cookies are somewhat even. Okay, so there we go. Got the log shaped. I'm just going to cut it in half, cut each half in half, and then I'll cut each of those pieces into 3. And we'll roll them up in a ball, flatten them out, put them in the oven for, start at 10 minutes. Then I typically rotate the tray and go for another 2 minutes. And then check for doneness after that. And if it needs another minute or 2, well then we just put them back in for another minute or 2. It just depends really on your oven. Okay, now we've got them all rolled out. Alright, let me get these up here so you can get a good look at them. And see how they're just starting to get that brown on the bottom and the edges. That's what you're looking for. Guys, take my word for this. I promise. You're going to love it. Make these.